60 flood warnings, 150,000 homes at risk, and right now a wall of Atlantic rain is barreling toward the United Kingdom at this very moment. If you live anywhere from Cornwall to the Scottish Highlands, the next 18 hours could define your weekend. But here is the part most forecasts will not tell you. There is one region tonight where the rain will be 3 times heavier than anywhere else. And if you stay until the 5-minute mark, I will reveal exactly which cities face the worst flooding risk overnight and the precise hour it hits. But first, let me give you something useful right now. Here is your 30-second survival checklist. Charge your phone tonight, move your car off any low-lying street, check on any elderly neighbour living alone, and visit checkforflooding.service.gov.uk before you go to bed. Do that, and you are already ahead of 90% of people who will wake up tomorrow morning surprised. Now, let us get into the full breakdown city by city, hour by hour. Right now, Saturday evening, the 7th of February 2026, a vigorous low-pressure system is sitting right over the British Isles. The Met Office has plastered yellow weather warnings across virtually every region of the country, north to south, east to west. This is not a normal weekend weather pattern. Cyclonic conditions are firmly in control. Frontal systems sweeping in from the Atlantic are being slowed down by a stubborn block of high pressure sitting to the northeast. The result? Rain bands are stacking up over the United Kingdom like traffic on the M25. They are not moving through quickly, they are lingering. And that lingering is what turns ordinary rain into flooding. Now, here is a number that should get your attention. Across Western England and Wales, rainfall totals tonight could reach 40 millimetres or more. To put that in perspective, the average total rainfall for the entire month of February in London is around 40 millimetres. Some areas of Western Britain could receive an entire month of rain in a single night. That is the scale of what we are dealing with. Let us start with London and the southeast. Right now, the capital is sitting under a thick grey blanket of cloud. The temperature reached about 11 degrees Celsius during the day, and tonight it will ease back to around 7 degrees. Not bitterly cold, but the dampness and the wind will make it feel far rawer than that number suggests. Drizzle and light rain will persist stubbornly throughout the evening with occasional heavier bursts. After 9 o'clock, watch out. Patches of fog will begin forming in the lower-lying areas along the Thames Basin, and visibility will drop sharply. Winds are running between 10 and 21 miles per hour. Not dangerous, but enough to make standing around outdoors thoroughly unpleasant. The yellow rain warning remains in force across London and the southeast. Surface water flooding is possible. If you are heading out tonight, check those tube services on overground sections and suburban bus routes before you leave. Waterproof jacket and umbrella are absolutely essential. You will need both. Now, here is where it gets serious. Drop a comment below telling me where you are watching from, and I will make sure your area gets covered in our next update. The more specific you are, the better I can tailor the forecast to your exact location. Moving to the southwest, and this is the part of the country I am most concerned about tonight. Plymouth is sitting at 11 degrees, but the temperature is not the story here. The story is the rain. Devon, Cornwall, Dorset, and Somerset are bearing the absolute brunt of the heaviest rainfall in this entire weather event. Bands of heavy rain are sweeping in off the Atlantic one after another. And here is the critical detail. The ground is already completely saturated from days of preceding rain. It simply cannot absorb any more water. The Environment Agency has issued upwards of 60 flood warnings, and the majority are concentrated right here in the southwest and across Western England. In Plymouth itself, coastal gusts could reach 20 to 25 miles per hour. If you live in this part of the country, check whether your property lies within a flood risk area tonight, not tomorrow morning. Tonight. Now remember, I promised you the worst flooding risk cities at the 5-minute mark. Here they are. The highest risk areas overnight are the Avon Valley, the River Stour catchment in Dorset, the River Piddle Basin, large parts of Hampshire and Wiltshire where groundwater levels have already hit alert thresholds, and the valley communities around Cardiff and South Wales. These are the areas where water has nowhere left to go. If you live near any of these river systems, please take this seriously. Speaking of Cardiff, let us cross the Bristol Channel into Wales. The Welsh capital recorded about 10 degrees today, dropping to between 5 and 7 degrees tonight. The whole of Wales is under a yellow rain warning. South Wales has already endured brutal downpours through the week, and tonight offers no relief whatsoever. Rain bands from the southwesterly frontal system will keep sweeping across Cardiff well into the small hours. Accumulations could reach 15 to 30 millimetres widely, and across the hillier terrain of Western Wales, totals may exceed 40 millimetres. Roads in Cardiff and the valley communities could see localized flooding. Spray from passing vehicles will slash visibility. If you are driving, slow down and use fog lamps if needed. Bristol, just across the channel, is in the same situation. 9 degrees by day, 5 degrees overnight, persistent rain and moderate winds. Now do not skip ahead, because the Midlands forecast contains a twist that most people are not expecting. Birmingham, the second city, recorded 8 degrees today. Tonight, it drops to just 3 degrees. Both the West Midlands and East Midlands are under yellow warnings. Here is the twist I mentioned. Birmingham is not getting the heaviest rain tonight. The downpours are lighter than the southwest, but the ground is so waterlogged and the drainage systems are under such enormous strain that even a modest amount of additional rain could trigger flooding. The city's canal network and low-lying areas near rivers are particularly vulnerable. Flood alerts are already in place. Coventry, Leicester, and Nottingham are all in the same position. Temperatures between 4 and 8 degrees, heavy cloud, and intermittent rain that the ground simply cannot handle. Heading further north to Sheffield, and this is where winter starts to bite. Sheffield is recording just 5 degrees. Tonight, values could fall to 2 or 3 degrees. Yorkshire and the Humber are under a yellow warning. Now, here is something the national forecasts often miss. Sheffield sits on the edge of the Peak District, and the western hills above about 300 metres may see sleet tonight. A mixture of rain and wet snow. Roads through the Peak District passes could become treacherous after dark. Leeds is faring no better. 6 degrees by day, 4 overnight, patchy rain and moderate winds. Manchester, 10 degrees today, dropping to 4 overnight. Here is a small piece of genuinely good news. Manchester may actually see the odd, brief, clear spell during the late afternoon before cloud thickens again toward evening. The chance of rain is lower here than in many other parts of the country. Do not get too excited though. Thick cloud and the possibility of drizzle will persist. Winds are 9 to 22 miles per hour. Salford, Bolton, Oldham and the surrounding towns share the same outlook. Predominantly cloudy, occasional drizzle, cool but staying above freezing. Liverpool, just to the west. 6 to 8 degrees by day, 5 degrees after dark. Roughly a 60% chance of rain, with expected totals of around 3.3 millimetres. But the winds on Merseyside are noticeably stronger than Manchester because of Liverpool's coastal exposure, 12 to 25 miles per hour. A damp and breezy night beside the Irish Sea. Now let us cross into Scotland, and this is where the weather story becomes properly dramatic. Do not miss this next section. Edinburgh. 7 degrees by day, 5 overnight, appreciably colder than London. Edinburgh sits right in the zone where cold Scandinavian air is pushing in from the northeast, creating a sharp temperature contrast. Intermittent rain and a northeasterly breeze pulling moisture off the North Sea will make showers heavier along the eastern coast. If you are venturing out in the Old Town tonight, wear sensible footwear. Those cobbled slopes will be treacherous. Glasgow. Just 5 degrees during the day, and tonight values could fall to freezing. Here is the critical warning. As rain bands push northward, snow is possible on higher ground around Glasgow above 300 metres. By midnight, bridges, overpasses and metal surfaces could begin to ice up. Driving in and around Glasgow after dark requires extreme care. There is a small silver lining though. Northwestern Scotland may see occasional clearer spells compared with the rest of the country. Aberdeen, just 4 degrees, one of the coldest cities in the country today. Tonight, temperatures fall to between 1 and 2 degrees. Aberdeen is taking the full force of an easterly breeze laden with North Sea moisture. The Met Office has identified the northeast of Scotland as one of the areas bearing the heaviest rainfall in this entire weather event. Rain at lower levels, snow on the heights, across the Grampian Mountains. Visibility will be poor. The A90 and A96 through Aberdeenshire should be checked before any travel. Inverness. 3 degrees by day, touching freezing tonight, and potentially dropping to -1 or -3 degrees on exposed higher ground. Mountain passes, including the A9 over Drumoctor and the A82 through Glencoe, could be affected by snow and ice. Anyone contemplating hill walking in the Highlands this weekend needs full cold weather gear, a torch, a map, and someone who knows their route. Back south to Newcastle. 5 degrees by day, 2 to 3 overnight. Newcastle sits right on the boundary between milder southern air and colder Scottish air, creating particular instability. Rain may turn to sleet on the higher ground around Northumberland by midnight. A northeasterly wind off the North Sea adds a raw cutting edge to the cold. We must not forget Northern Ireland. Belfast recorded 5 degrees today, falling to 3 overnight. A band of rain will track across Northern Ireland, bringing moderate to heavy falls. The Mourne Mountains and the Sperrin Mountains may see snow on their summits. Rural roads crossing hilly terrain could become slippery and hazardous after dark. Before we head to the south coast, a quick word on Blackpool. The famous seaside resort is recording about 7 degrees by day and 4 degrees overnight. Sea winds off the Irish Sea are keener here than almost anywhere else in the northwest. Anyone fancying a Saturday evening promenade along Blackpool Pier should brace themselves for lively gusts and a good deal of salty sea spray. Not exactly Illuminations weather, but that is February on the Lancashire coast for you. Dundee, sitting on the banks of the Tay, is recording 7 degrees by day and 4 overnight. An 80% chance of rain with expected totals of approximately 4.3 millimetres. Winds running at 11 to 21 miles per hour. The central Tayside and Fife region will be damp, cold and breezy. A quintessentially Scottish winter night. Down on the south coast now, Brighton is sitting at 9 to 10 degrees. Warmer than the north, thanks to the English Channel, but the sea breeze and persistent drizzle make the seafront miserable. Portsmouth is similar, 9 degrees with a yellow warning for heavy rain. Hampshire has experienced significant flooding through the week with numerous roads underwater. Southampton, 11 degrees by day, 6 overnight, contending with persistent rain. Oxford and Reading in the Thames Valley. Reading has an 80% chance of rain tonight with accumulations of roughly 5.7 millimetres and winds of 16 to 30 miles per hour, noticeably stronger than many other locations. Both cities should remain alert to surface water risk, particularly in riverside areas. Now let me repeat the most critical information because this is what matters most tonight. The highest flood risk areas are the southwest of England, South Wales, the Thames Valley, and parts of Hampshire and Wiltshire. If you live in these regions, check the Environment Agency flood warnings now. The heaviest rain peaks between 9 o'clock tonight and 3 o'clock Sunday morning. After that, conditions gradually ease, but rivers will continue rising into Sunday. So to sum up your Saturday night across the United Kingdom, the south is milder but wetter. The north is colder with the risk of snow on higher ground. London, 7 to 11 degrees, persistent drizzle. Cardiff and Bristol, 5 to 10 degrees, heavy rain. Birmingham, 3 to 8 degrees, intermittent showers. Manchester, 4 to 10 degrees, occasional drizzle with brief clearer spells possible. Liverpool, 5 to 8 degrees, windier. Sheffield and Leeds, 2 to 6 degrees, sleet possible on the hills. Newcastle, 2 to 5 degrees, raw easterly off the sea. Edinburgh, 5 to 7 degrees, rain and wind. Glasgow, 0 to 5 degrees, frost possible. Aberdeen, 1 to 4 degrees, heavy rain and hill snow. Inverness, touching freezing. Belfast, 3 to 9 degrees, persistent rain. And will Sunday be any better? I am afraid the honest answer is no. Unsettled weather will continue well into next week. Further rain-bearing fronts will approach from the Atlantic. Western and southern areas remain most at risk. Snow stays possible when colder air filters south. Strong winds may also feature, but here is what I need from you right now. Drop a comment telling me your town or city. I read every single one, and in our next update, I will give minute-by-minute breakdowns for the most requested locations. If your area was not covered in detail tonight, that comment is how you make sure it gets covered next time. And speaking of next time, Tuesday's forecast is shaping up to be potentially more significant than tonight. There are early signals of a much deeper low-pressure system tracking across the Atlantic that could bring damaging winds to parts of the United Kingdom by midweek. I am watching it very closely. Make sure you do not miss that update. Stay warm, stay safe. Check on your neighbours, make sure they have heating, food, and medication. And whatever you do, do not park on a low-lying street tonight. The British winter never goes easy on us, but with proper preparation, there is every reason to come through it